Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists. Hello, I'm Dango Rose, and this is the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. In this week's episode, we talk to Kara Van Hoos, Northeast Region Public Information Officer with the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. She tells us about the trail app COTREX and how it works to keep hikers and trailblazers safe during their outdoor adventures.
We hear this week's music mentions from Jamie Lammers, and special correspondent Maryann Rosen will share a story about the big spill occurring any time now at the Barker Reservoir in Nederland. We then talk to CB from the Sugarloaf Fire Department about their big, huge annual garage sale happening this weekend.
And for our final story, Dango interviews Tara Nevins of Donna the Buffalo, who will be performing at the Caribou Room on Friday, May 26th.
But first, some news from your neighborhood.
A big congratulations goes out to all the graduates across the Peak-to-Peak. Both Gilpin and Nederland seniors will be walking the stage to collect their diplomas this week. From all of us at the Mountaineer newspaper and podcast, may your lives be blessed with goodness and success in whatever road you take.
It may not feel like it, but summer is right around the corner, and so is the annual Nederland Town Cleanup. With everything going on in town, organizers want to get an early start with securing volunteers. This year's Big Clean has been scheduled for Saturday, June 3rd. Volunteers will be needed from 7:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. Volunteers can dispose of their items free of charge, and Bright Heart Catering will be providing burritos to keep everyone going strong. Go online to sign up at town-of-Nederland.gov/town-clean-up-day.
Plans for a NedFest family reunion have been announced. Tickets have gone on sale, and organizers will be sharing more details as they develop. Expect music, food, art, and fun taking place at the Caribou Room in August. To find out the latest information, buy tickets, or sign up as a vendor, visit peakmusic.org. You can also keep up with the event on Facebook at Peak to Peak Music Education Association.
The Boulder County Sheriff's Office has partnered with the Colorado Auto Theft Prevention Authority to combat catalytic converter theft. BCSO will be distributing free CAT ETCH labels to community members free of charge. The labels have a unique identifying number and can be used by law enforcement to recover stolen converters. Interested parties will need to register by going to bouldercounty.gov. And this is the big one, the granddaddy of them all. The Sugarloaf Fire Department's annual giant garage sale. The sale will be happening Memorial Day weekend, May 26th through 28th, Friday through Sunday. Browse through the massive selection of fine goods and you'll find everything you need for yourself, your family, and your dog. Come and see as the entire fire station is transformed into a department store full of bargains. All proceeds from the sale go directly to support the Sugarloaf Fire Station number 2, located at 1360 Sugarloaf Road. You can also find the event listed on their Facebook page at SLF Garage Sale.
Read more local news and feature stories in print and online at themountaineer.com.
And that's it for this week's news briefs. If you have something to share, you can send requests for submission to info@themountaineer.com. As long as it meets our community standards, we'll be sure to include it in a future episode. Brightwood Music has been serving the Peak to Peak region and beyond since opening in 2008. The full-service music store offers new and used instruments and will even repair the ones you've got. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook at Brightwood Music. Brightwood Music is the best music store with altitude across the Peak to Peak.
And now, for our lead story, we speak to Kara Van Hoos with the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. My name is Kara Van Hoos. I am with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. I am the Northeast Region Public Information Officer.
And first, tell us who the COTREX app was developed for.
Yeah, the COTREX app is really exciting for anybody who wants to use a trail in Colorado.
Kara, can you tell us about what sparked the idea behind COTREX?
COTREX was started back in 2016 when Colorado Parks and Wildlife wanted to get better land management information to the public. So since 7 years ago now, we have a total of 236 land management agencies that use COTREX. And this is great because it means that COTREX has the most accurate information on the app. I know I've used other trail apps before, and sometimes when I get out there, I'll see that the trail is muddy or that there's a tree across it that I can't pass, or even that there's a trail closed sign. And it kind of ruins my trip. I've had my heart set on seeing this waterfall or doing this loop. But COTREX is the best because the people who are managing that land are using only COTREX. So if there is some sort of obstacle along the route or they have to close for mud season like we're in right now, it goes to COTREX, and then when you open up the app, you see those closures right in place. You don't have to scroll down to the comments or see somebody else who has done this trail recently to be able to tell you. You can rely directly on the information that those land managers are using.
This sort of reminds me of the GPS navigation app Waze, but for trails. Is that a reasonable comparison?
Right. I think that's a smart comparison. It is updated, but you know, when you're using Waze, you have to rely on other drivers sometimes to tell you when there are speed traps. This one, it's the people who actually are the ones walking the trails and the ones putting up the closure signs. So you don't have to rely on other hikers who may forget to update their app, or bikers who, you know, just don't think of it after they've finished their ride. It's the people who are doing these closures themselves. So that's why it's always got the most updated information to it.
And where do people go to download the app?
You can find it wherever you download your other apps. So whether it's through the Google Play Store or through Apple, and it's free too. So while there is an option for you to create your own free account, and that way you can download trails that you use or spots that you like the best, there's no sort of premium pricing. So you won't be asked to keep paying $4.99 a month to have access to the best features. It's just free, and all of those features are available to anyone who uses COTREX.
Kara, will you tell our listeners some of your favorite functions of the app?
Yeah, I would say one of my favorite things about hiking in Colorado is finding new spots or hearing trails that people really like and that they've kind of discovered on their own. And there is an option for that in COTREX where, say, it's the park manager of Staunton State Park. He can create a new route or a new trail that's one of his favorites that maybe you haven't tried yourself. And it will pop up on featured routes under COTREX, and then you can hike some of the park manager's favorite spots, which I think is the best. And really, it always keeps it fresh. You know, you're able to see different places or kind of enjoy what other people love about their park.
This app is also helpful for people hiking in areas for the first time or places they may not be too familiar with.
Right, of course. I mean, for visitors, it can be so hard because they want to enjoy our public lands. They want to go out on trails, and maybe they don't know some of the best spots. And on COTREX, you can filter too. I only want to do 3 miles. Maybe I don't want an elevation gain more than 1,000 feet because I'm not used to the altitude or something like that. So you can plug in all of your wants and needs on what you're looking for, and COTREX will pop up options, different trail options for you to take, and then you can click on it on the map. So it's very user-friendly, and you can certainly customize what you're looking to do.
Thank you, Kara. We included links to more information about the app in our show notes, and there will be an additional story in this week's paper as well. We hope people take advantage of this service, not just to keep themselves safe during their outdoor adventures, but also our parks and open spaces.
Take you with me where I go. I will hold your hand when you're alone, 'cause you are worthy, you are bright, you are strong enough for this life.
Now we go to correspondent Jamie Lammers, who will be delivering this week's Music Mentions.
And now, for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, May 28th at 2 p.m. to see Eric Stone performing live. Head to the Canyon Tavern, located at 32138 Highway 72 in Coal Creek Canyon on Friday, May 26th at 6 p.m. to see Will Whelan performing live, and on Saturday, May 27th at 6 p.m. to see Greg Green performing live. Head to the Caribou Room, located at 55 Indian Peaks Drive in Nederland on Friday, May 26th to see Donna the Buffalo performing live. Doors open and dinner starts at 7 p.m., and the show starts at 8 p.m. Every Thursday at 7 p.m., the Covered Wagon hosts a karaoke night. Be sure to head to 15 East 1st Street in Nederland to check them out for yourself. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Friday, May 26th at 7 p.m. to see the Chatham Rabbits performing live, on Saturday, May 27th at 6 p.m. to see Damn Tall Buildings performing live, and on Sunday, May 28th at 6 p.m. to see Danny Schaefer performing live. Head to Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Sunday, May 28th at 4 p.m. to see an open bluegrass jam. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Thursday, May 25th at 7 p.m. to see Mickey Balder and Taylor Sharp performing live, on Friday, May 26th at 7 p.m. to see Intergalactic Peace Jelly performing live, and on Sunday, May 28th at 12 p.m. to see Maddie G performing live. Head to Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Nederland on Saturday, May 27th at 5 p.m. to see Deadfish Orchestra Chamber Ensemble performing live, and head there every Sunday at 4 p.m. to see Jazz Sundays with Black Dog and Friends. Every Saturday at 6 p.m., the Millsite Inn hosts an open jam. Be sure to head to 44365 Highway 72 in Ward to check it out for yourself. Also be sure to head there on Friday, May 26th at 8 p.m. to see John Black Dog Ridnell performing live, on Sunday, May 28th at 8 p.m. to see Mike and Zalen from Ward performing live, and on Monday, May 29th at 8 p.m. to see John McKay performing live. Head to the Nederland Farmers Market at 85 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, May 28th, starting at 10:30 a.m. to see Reservoir Fog performing live. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive number 112 in Nederland on Friday, May 26th at 6 p.m. to see C.P. Meyer performing live, on Saturday, May 27th at 5 p.m. to see Raven Wolf performing live, and on Sunday, May 28th at 5 p.m. to see Fast Floyd performing live. Did we miss you or your performance? Want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast for The Mountain Ear.
Thank you, Jamie. Now let's drop in with special correspondent Maryann Rosen, who shares a fascinating tale about the history of the big spill at the Barker Reservoir.
Spring is here in Nederland, and it is once again time for the annual spill of the Barker Reservoir. Usually occurring somewhere between the middle of May and the end of June, the exact date depending on weather, snowpack, and early spring reservoir levels, the spill and subsequent increase in creek water levels is an amazing event. Snuggled here on the Front Range, the Barker Reservoir is a huge lake next to the small town of Nederland, ringed by mountains. Approaching the town, your attention is captured, and you are greeted by the stunning view of the reservoir and of those extraordinary Rocky Mountains surrounding it. The surface elevation of the reservoir is 8,183 feet above sea level, and it covers approximately 0.70 square miles. But what is the history of this beautiful body of water? How did it come to be? How is it used? And why does the spill occur? To tell the entire story, we need to hearken back to 1877 when Hannah Connell married Ezra Barker, who was a local businessman who owned a ranch near Nederland. When he died 6 years later, the now Hannah Barker was left running the ranch. Enter the Central Colorado Power Company. In the early 1900s, they wanted to buy the ranch from Hannah Barker to build a dam, flood the land, and create the reservoir in order to provide electricity to nearby mining communities and Denver. Hannah refused to sell, and she was then forced out, and the ranch was seized in a process similar to the current procedure of eminent domain. The irony is that the reservoir created, which Hannah Barker never wanted, is named for her. In 1908, the Central Colorado Power Company began construction of the dam on Middle Boulder Creek. Materials were brought in on a spur of the Switzerland Trail narrow gauge railroad, which is no longer in existence. The 624-foot dam, 120 feet thick at the base, tapering to 16 feet thick at the top, was finished in 1910. In 2001, the city of Boulder purchased the Barker Reservoir, along with the dam, the Kostler Reservoir, the pipelines, and the Boulder Canyon Hydroelectric Plant. The reservoir now primarily supplies municipal water to the city of Boulder, who actually gets 40% of their water from the Barker. Besides providing municipal water, the reservoir also provides recreation. Shoreline fishing is allowed, and one can catch several species of trouts, along with tiger muskie and kokanee salmon. There are several areas to picnic, and there is a shoreline trail which winds around the lake, offering stunning views of the reservoir and the magnificent Rocky Mountains. Back to its primary purpose, the reservoir is not a flood control facility, and so has a limited storage capacity. Each spring, as temps warm, stream flow increases due to runoff from the melting mountain snows that have fallen along the Continental Divide and the high peaks of Colorado. This produces tremendous amounts of water tumbling down the hillsides. The dams, such as the one on Barker Reservoir, capture the snowmelt and store it. The mountain reservoir must fill first, and then, because of its limited storage space and its design, when the water reaches a designated level, the excess water must spill and make its way downstream into Boulder Creek. The water cascades over the spillway and makes its way to the Kostler Reservoir, where the torrent of water drops another 1,828 feet to the hydroelectric plant at the base of Boulder Canyon. To provide some sense of the amount of water that flows through Middle Boulder Creek each spring, well, it could fill the reservoir multiple times. The spill increases flow into Boulder Creek by a lot. Community members are urged to take care while near the creek during the high flow period, which can last weeks. Although tubing on Boulder Creek during the safe high flow times is another fun activity. So when will this big spill begin this year? Watch the weather, the snow melt, and be aware of your surroundings. And be ready for the torrent of water rushing over the spillway and gushing into the creek whenever that may occur.
Okay, folks, it's the Bizarre Cat Bazaar call to action for vendors, artists, musicians, and merrymakers. If you want to be a part of this exciting new event taking place in the heart of Nederland, go to thebizarrecatbazaar.com. That's with both bazaars, a cat in the middle and a .com. And now, we talk to CB with the Sugarloaf Fire Department. The crew is in full swing getting ready for their annual garage sale this weekend. The sale raises money for the department and offers people some pretty great deals along the way. CB, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners?
I'm CB Bassity, and I am a firefighter here in Sugarloaf, and I manage our garage sale, annual Memorial Day weekend garage sale.
So tell people when the big sale is and also what they'll find.
It will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the last weekend in May. So I'm just pulling up my calendar. That means the 26th, 27th, and 28th. Friday the 26th, Saturday, and Sunday of, and the sale will be 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. We have tons of stuff. We have, believe me, anything anyone could possibly need. Somewhere we've got it. The clothing and books, cookware, handyman hardware. We have a bunch of snowblowers this year. We have a couple of chainsaws, as I recall. Bicycles, we've got a bunch of bikes. Furniture, you name it, we've got it. Collectibles, just a ton of stuff. Sports and outdoor gear, anything you could imagine. We have it, and, good prices. It's a very good thing.
CB, outside of this being a great way to help support the department, is there anything else you want to let people know?
We want people to come and shop because we've got it. You name it, we've got it.
Thank you, CB. You can also find an ad for the sale in this week's edition of the Mountaineer newspaper or visit their Facebook page at slfpdgaragesale.org. In our next segment, Dango catches up with Tara Nevins, frontwoman of the legendary band Donna the Buffalo, who will be making a special appearance at the Caribou Room on Friday, May 26th.
All right, we at the Mountaineer are very fortunate to have Tara Nevins with us from Donna the Buffalo. Tara, can you please introduce yourself for our listening audience?
Sure. Hi, Dango, and everybody else. My name is Tara Nevins, and I play with the band Donna the Buffalo.
So I read that Donna the Buffalo has been around since 1989. Does that sound accurate?
Something like that. We might have started sort of jamming together around then, but we didn't take it to the road, so to speak, as our career till a while after that. But we've known each other. Jeb and I, the founders, basically, have been, playing together that long, for sure. Yeah.
So Tara, how would you describe the evolution of the Donna the Buffalo sound from those formulative years to where you are now, about to hit the road on your spring tour of 2023?
I think the evolution really happened in the very beginning because I met Jeb and some of the original members of the band, Richie Stearns, Jurgen Purrier, Jeb's brother, and Jane Lamphere and Jenny Stearns, Richie's wife. Anyway, we were all old-time musicians, and that's how we met, was playing old-time music and traveling to fiddle conventions in the South and all that.
Tara, can you elaborate more on this?
I grew up listening to pop music. So I guess at one point I was sort of started writing songs, and Jeb and I used to sit around and record them, and on this tape player that he had, and I'd write the song, and we'd sit there, and he'd play the guitar, and I would like grab a plate, some chopsticks, and I'd play the drums on the plate and the chopsticks, and we'd record these songs. And then Jeb picked up an electric guitar because he was just playing the acoustic. He picked up an electric guitar, and then Jim Miller came into the picture, and he had an electric guitar, and all of a sudden we sort of morphed from playing old-time music into being really beginners at playing electric music. We were old-time musicians, and I started writing songs, and then and Jeb started writing songs, and we just kind of morphed into playing them on electric instruments. And we were really bad at it at first. A lot of people that play in sort of a rock band, have garage bands when they're young and that kind of thing. But we didn't start playing electric music till way late in the game. And so we were really new at it when we had these cool songs that we enjoyed, but we didn't play them very well. But people seemed to like them. Anyway, that's sort of how it morphed into the sound. And also we go to these fiddle conventions, and we also liked all kinds of traditional music. I mean, we listened to Zydeco and Cajun music. We really loved African music and reggae music. And I took a spontaneous trip actually to my first Southwestern Louisiana Mardi Gras with Jim Miller, my husband at the time, and Dirk Powell, who I'm sure a lot of people know now. We all went to the Mardi Gras, and it was just a spontaneous trip. I fell in love with the Zydeco music there, came home and bought a couple of accordions and started learning to play that, and then started incorporating that into Donna the Buffalo. So, we just sort of picked up these influences along the way. And I think that the other thing about our sound is that we spent so many years sitting in a circle playing fiddle tunes, old-time fiddle tunes, where you just play the same tune, the A part and the B part over and over. You kind of get a groove, you kind of ride the groove, and that's it. You don't take breaks or solos like in bluegrass, So I think when we started playing the electric music, playing our songs, I think we just came with the same sensibility. We kind of were all about finding the groove and just sticking with that. We never stepped out really to take breaks. It was something really new to us. So I think that had a real influence on our sound. From the very beginning, we were all about this like groove coming from playing the old time music. We just, that's where we just evolved into what Donna the Buffalo is today still.
Speaking of old time music and the way it kind of repeats itself in a round, it kind of becomes like trance music. Some might say 19th century trance music. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Totally. It's like you're in it. There's this thing we used to laugh about that somebody came to one of the festivals. They had made hats, and it was like old-time music better than it sounds. Because it's just, when you're in it, you're like just lost in it together, Your heads are bent into this circle, all playing together, and you're just kind of floating along on this groove. And then it ends, kind of thing. And I think Donna the Buffalo kind of did the same thing for a long time, and I think that that is a huge part of where our sound came from.
Looking online, it says that Donna the Buffalo has become a lifestyle for the fans and the band itself. Could you elaborate on what this means?
Sure. I mean, we developed a following right away. A lot of people that were into the Grateful Dead when Jerry Garcia was alive, they kind of switched over and sort of found us, after Jerry Garcia died and things started changing with the Grateful Dead. And they sort of found us and called themselves the Herd. So right away, we sort of had this migration happening and sort of this family feeling. And the other part of the whole thing is that, we started a festival in Trumansburg, New York, called the Finger Lakes Grassroots Festival that just had, last year was the 30th anniversary. And we expanded it to North Carolina. And there are two more in North Carolina called Corey Hills Grassroots Festival in May and October. And then we expanded it even further down to Virginia Beach, in between Miami and Key Biscayne. So, and now we have 4 days before the Grassroots Festival up here in Trumansburg, we have Grassroots Culture Camp, which is a 4-day camp, workshops and dances and all this. And so we're involved in all of that, and we're involved in playing music. We're traveling on this bus, and And we have this herd, wonderful herd. And yeah, it just feels more like a lifestyle than just like, okay, I'm going home. Yeah, next week I'm going out on the road with the band. And then we all get home, go our separate ways, and go back and not get on the bus again and go on the road. It's more like be on the road and, okay, who are we getting at this festival? And who are we doing to this? And what's happening with this? And what's happening with that? And, okay, and who's going to be here from the herd? And blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's just, and now we got the camp going. So it's just all inclusive. It's like the music's just like a part of it.
And so it really does become more like a lifestyle.
Exactly.
And after 30 years of being on the road, it also becomes more like a choice. So what is it that keeps you doing what you're doing?
I guess we like it. I guess we like it. I guess we're just, I don't know, we didn't have the herd. Just sort of fortunate, we kind of, we were never willing to travel in cars. We took our first trip to, we're up here in New York State. We took our first trip up to Canada to play one of our first gigs, and we went in a couple of Volvo station wagons. We came back and we're like, enough of that. And we immediately started buying old school buses, and we've always been traveling in a bus. And now we own our own Prevost. And, we've always been fortunate to have someone like a manager, a booking agent. The wheels keep rolling. I don't know what to say. We like what we do. Maybe we're crazy. We like what we do. I don't think, having the herd and just having that sort of collective, something you're doing all together in a sense. It feeds us, kind of keeps us going. I mean, it's a big part of it. If people didn't dig the music, probably wouldn't have lasted this long.
And now you're getting on the bus and you're headed out to Colorado, and you'll be at the Caribou Room on Friday, May 26th. What has you coming back to our featured small town venue?
We love playing there. Every time we play there, it's a great room. Really nice people that work there, and always a really great crowd. Colorado's a cool place. They're very like-minded, really different than here, but really still like-minded very much, We have our places that we like to go, and Colorado's one of them.
And Tara, what can folks expect coming out to a Donna the Buffalo show?
Well, more of the same. Good time, dance music, some new songs, and like a really positive, kind of affirming, uplifting, dance-grooving night.
Thank you, Tara. We couldn't be more thrilled that you guys are coming back to Nederland, and we look forward to dancing with you all Friday, May 26th with Donna the Buffalo at the Caribou Room in Nederland.
You'll be dancing under the moon before too long. You'll be flying high as a kite when the wind gets blowing. You'll be right back where you started. You'll be holding tight to the motor that gets you going. You'll be holding tight to the motor that gets you going.
That concludes this week's episode of the Mountain Air Podcast, where everybody's listening.
Visit our website at www.themountaineer.com to read more information about today's guests. Pick up a copy of this week's print edition of The Mountaineer at newsstands all across the Peak to Peak. I'm Dango Rose.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. Thank you for listening.
You name it, we've got it.
Up here in the mountains, things are weird.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.